Hello, Melissa Crook here. I am the host of the Together We F.E.E.L Panel show. You'll notice it's just me and my tree in this week's panel. I still wanted to get on here and address this topic. The panelists that I wanted to join me today with the holidays, and I didn't give them as much notice as I had hoped for, weren't able to join me. So we're going to have this conversation in the spring regarding narcissistic abuse awareness. And December is Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Month. June 1st is Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day throughout the world. Both of these are times to educate about what this might look like. And today I'm going to share with you, we have several episodes on our podcast over the last couple of seasons with women who have been through this and are now on the other side of it. Their stories are so relatable, so powerful, and they have come out on the other side of this offering a plethora of support and resources that I want you all to know about, whether it's you or someone you love or know or care about, or you know someone who knows someone that needs these resources, that needs to hear these stories to even realize that maybe they're in this situation too. I just didn't want to miss this opportunity to get that information into your hands today. So I'm going to use this time on this week's panel slot to share that with you. So first of all, a little background on Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Month. Like I already told you, December is the month for that. June 1st is widely recognized as World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. This started in 2016 by psychotherapist Bree Bonke to educate, support survivors, and highlight the invisible emotional and psychological harm of narcissistic abuse, promoting healing and prevention. This is something that I think that we're starting to talk about more. I'm noticing it in the people who reach out to me to be guests, but it's still something that isn't widely recognized, understood, or given the time and energy needed within the larger abuse circle. Sadly, there's so much of this to cover. So I want to make sure that we're providing voice to this, not only through our different episodes we have, but as a collective network. And so a few more stats and things to be aware of when it comes to narcissistic abuse. I want to first give you the definition of narcissistic personality disorder that is on the Mayo Clinic website. That and all the links to the episodes that I'm going to talk about with you today are in our show notes here on our @Embracing Layers YouTube page. Go to that. You can also find them on our website at embracinglayers.com on the episodes page. And as I share these episodes with you, if one of these episodes clicks with you, connects with you, or you think it'll connect with someone you know, if you want more information regarding that person from that episode, that's all on our resources page at embracinglayers.com. And as you listen to the episode, we'll reference that. So, and there's a few other resources that are in the show notes that I will talk about verbally as well here, but know that you can go to our show notes to find those if you don't have something to write them down with as I'm sharing. First of all, though, I want to give this overview of narcissistic personality disorder before I move into the episodes and other resources piece. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. A narcissistic personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life, such as relationships, work, school, or financial matters. People with narcissistic personality disorder may be generally unhappy and disappointed when they're not given the special favors or admiration that they believe they deserve. They may find their relationships troubled and unfulfilling, and other people may not enjoy being around them. Treatment for narcissistic personality disorder centers around talk therapy, also called psychotherapy. Narcissistic personality disorder affects more males than females, statistics currently show, according to Mayo Clinic, and it often begins in the teens or early adulthood. Some children may show traits of narcissism, but this is often typical for their age and doesn't mean they'll go on to develop narcissistic personality disorder. And I think it's really important we understand it, because I think this is a word that sometimes is thrown around a little bit loosely. And so I want to be very clear about what it is so that we don't confuse it with other things and other diagnoses. Symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder and how severe they are can vary. People with the disorder can have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance and require constant excess admiration, feel that they deserve privileges and special treatment, expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements, make achievements and talents seem bigger than they are, be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate, believe they are superior to others, and can only spend time with or be understood by equally special people. Be critical of and look down on people they feel are not important, expect special favors, and expect other people to do what they want without questioning them, take advantage of others to get what they want, have an ability or an unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others, be envious of others and believe others envy them, behave in an arrogant way, brag a lot, and come across as conceited, insist on having the best of everything, for instance, the best car or office. At the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorder have trouble handling anything they view as criticism. They can become impatient or angry when they don't receive special recognition or treatment, have major problems interacting with others and easily feel slighted, react with rage or contempt, and try to belittle other people to make themselves appear superior, have difficulty managing their emotions and behavior, experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting to change, withdraw from or avoid situations in which they might fail, feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection, have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, humiliation, and fear of being exposed as a failure. When to see a doctor if you suspect someone of having narcissistic personality disorder. People with narcissistic personality disorder may not want to think that anything could be wrong, so they usually don't seek treatment. If they do seek treatment, it's more likely to be for symptoms of depression, drug or alcohol misuse, or another mental health problem. What they view as insults to self-esteem may make it difficult to accept and follow through with treatment. If you recognize aspects of your personality that are common to narcissistic personality disorder, or you're feeling overwhelmed by sadness, consider reaching out to a trusted healthcare provider or mental health provider. Getting the right treatment can help make your life more rewarding and enjoyable. So this gives you some background on what this personality disorder looks like in people. Now, when it comes to the abuse piece, which is what we're going to hone in on now, some key things that happen when we're trying to educate people about this is, one, a focus, educating the public about narcissistic abuse and its devastating impacts, which often go unnoticed. Purpose, to recognize survivors, promote resilience, and prevent future abuse by understanding its signs and effects. Impact, highlights invisible wounds like anxiety, PTSD, depression, and low self-worth that survivors experience. As you listen to these episodes that we've had on our podcast and that I'm sharing here in the show notes today, you will hear most, if not all of these women talk about the physical and mental health extreme impacts that they were experiencing while in these relationships and how that changed once they were not. It is truly remarkable and terrifying, honestly. Origin, founded by Bree Bonke, that's for the June 1st day. She is a psychotherapist specializing in trauma and abuse recovery. And so for the December Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Month, that's a broader month. The Advocacy Resource Center talks about it. BetterHelp talks about it a lot. Those are both websites you can go to. But it's important because narcissistic abuse involves manipulation, devaluation, and control, often leaving no physical scars, although the physical health issues you're going to hear about are very much, I count as physical scars, but cause deep, lasting trauma. Awareness helps victims identify the abuse, seek help, and understand they are not to blame for the abuser's behavior. So there's a few things that you're going to hear about here that are kind of ways to kind of track this. One thing is called the 4 Ds of narcissism. And this often refers to tactics used in narcissistic abuse. Deny, refusing to acknowledge that harmful abuse or behavior occurred, even with evidence. Dismiss, invalidating feelings, experiences, or concerns that person they're abusing may be having, making them feel like they're overreacting or crazy. Devalue, making them feel worthless, small, or insignificant to maintain their sense of superiority. Distort, distract, or divert, twisting facts, gaslighting, changing the subject, or playing the victim themselves to avoid accountability. There's also 10 signs of narcissism to look out for. And here are these 10 key traits. Some of these are a little bit of a repeat, but I think they're worth saying again. Grandiose sense of self-importance, exaggerating achievements and expecting recognition as superior without commensurate accomplishments. Need for excessive admiration, requiring constant praise and attention from others to validate their inflated self-image. Lack of empathy, inability or unwillingness to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. Sense of entitlement, expecting special treatment and automatic compliance with their expectations. Exploitive behavior, taking advantage of others to achieve their own ends. Envy, often envious of others or believing that others are envious of them. Arrogant attitudes, displaying haughty, superior behaviors or attitudes. Fantasies of success, preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, or beauty. Belief in being special, believing they are unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other high-status people or institutions. Fragile self-esteem, despite outward confidence, often hiding deep-seated insecurity and sensitivity to criticism. What type of person falls for a narcissist? And this is going to be examples of the kinds of people narcissists will target. And I think it's important to know this because these people carry very wonderful, kind, empathetic traits about them. So if you fall into that category, it's good. It's helpful for you to know what to look out for, because it's nobody that I have talked to that has ended up in these relationships saw this coming or expected to be one of these people. So it's always good to be aware of, as you're meeting people, dating people, talking to people, working with people. Narcissism happens in partnerships and romantic relationships, but it also happens in workplace relationships as well. So there's multiple areas to be aware of this in. Narcissists are often attracted to kind, empathetic, and selfless people who are drawn to helping others, sometimes called empaths. Sometimes you might be codependent in nature, who may have not very many boundaries or no boundaries at all, past trauma, or a tendency to see the best in people. You might be a rescuer or a fixer by nature. These individuals, often highly sensitive, provide the validation and emotional supply narcissists crave, mistaking charismatic charm and love bombing for genuine connection, making them vulnerable to manipulation and exploitation. So again, those key traits, let's go into a little more detail about this. High empathy and compassion. Narcissists seek people with this. They are drawn to those who care deeply, feel others' pain, and want to help, viewing them as a resource to be drained. Another characteristic they look for, selflessness and forgiveness. People who prioritize others' needs, overlook flaws, and take responsibility for relationship problems, even if they aren't their cause. Those people are prime targets. Idealistic views of others. Narcissists target those who believe in second chances, see potential, and assume the best in people. And this comes from a USA Today article that I will put in the show notes as well, that you can read more about that. Low self-esteem and past trauma. Individuals with past wounds, low self-worth, or a history of neglect may be more susceptible to the narcissist's powerful facade and promises, according to this Forbes article and this Medium article. All these articles I'm referring to will be on the resources page, again, here at Embracing Layers in our YouTube show notes. People pleasers and rescuers. Those with a strong need to fix or save others are ideal partners, as narcissists use their vulnerabilities against them, according to this Quora post. Again, that link will be in our show notes. Why they're attracted. Supply. Empathetic individuals quickly share vulnerabilities, giving narcissists ammunition for manipulation. Validation. Narcissists seek partners who make them look good and boost their inflated self-image. Repeating patterns. Attracting narcissists can stem from unmet needs or repeating unhealthy relationship dynamics from childhood, according to Psychology Today. So all of this information, again, will be in our show notes, links to all of this information. In essence, narcissists target those whose positive traits, kindness, loyalty, and empathy, can be exploited for their own gain, often creating a cycle of manipulation and emotional exhaustion for the victim. So that is some really important information to share. I think it's really important for those that have those really thoughtful, kind, and empathetic, see the best in people types of traits that you really need to be aware. I think the love bombing can be a big clue. If it feels like too much, too soon, too fast, that can be a clue. That one really sticks out to me. You see that a lot. You hear all of these guests I'm going to share the episodes about talk about that. So I wanted to get you some information out front about what to look for, why, how it comes up, how it shows up for both the person being abused and the abuser, what they might look like. And then the next thing I want to share is episodes that we have right now, as well as some other resources to let you know how to get support, access support, get in connection with people who will understand what it is you're talking about, what it is you're referring to. You may listen to this and have an aha moment for yourself or some others that you know, and you might be able to connect them with this information. So Starting with, let's see, back in season 6 on the F.E.E.L Podcast, we had Michelle Shekinah on. She shares her experience and her resources. This link is in our show notes here. You can also go to embracinglayers.com and go to season 6 on the episodes page, and you will find Michelle's episode. She also shared in her episode the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233, the National Sexual Assault Hotline, 1-800-656-4673, and the National Human Trafficking Hotline, 888-373-7888. Again, all in our show notes as well as on our resources page of Michelle's episode from season 6 at embracinglayers.com on both the episodes page and the resources page. Another guest we had in season 7, and she continues to be a guest with us on panels and on our Substack. She's very active in my network and community, is my friend Dana Diaz. Dana's episode, again, season 7, the link is here. You can also go to embracinglayers.com and go to season 7 and find her episode and her experience and her resources now that she shares. She's got multiple books. She's speaking. She's just got a lot of resources to share. You want to connect with Dana. She also shares in her episode the Abuse Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-7233, and the Suicide Crisis Lifeline, 988. An episode that just dropped with this last week here in season 9 on the F.E.E.L Podcast were with Dina Lynn and Lizzie Jane. These remarkable women were both married to the same narcissistic man, and one of them was able to get out of that relationship and later help the other one as she was getting out of that relationship. And they are now have come together. They helped a third woman that this man tried to target and have their own podcast now. They have just become this force. Their story is remarkable. Listen to that episode from last week on season 9. Again, they have their own podcast now. You can follow them on Instagram at The Matadoras. But check out that episode again in the link in the show notes here on YouTube. Also go to season 9 on embracinglayers.com on the episodes page. Also, last week, another friend, Teresa Rosario Hernandez, also has the Prosecco Queens podcast. Her episode dropped last week. embracinglayers.com, season 9. Again, the links here in the show notes, also on our website. All their resources are also on the season 9 resources page and how to follow them. From season 8, last season, we had Carrie Pierce share her story and her experiences. That link is in here on the show notes, as well as going to season 8 on the podcast page at embracinglayers.com, looking for Carrie Pierce. Coming this Thursday, December 11th, on the F.E.E.L Podcast is another episode. Remarkable woman, Corinne Lafont, shares her story from toxicity to transformation, how she found self-worth and emotional freedom. It's super powerful episode as well. That drops this Thursday on embracinglayers.com. You'll be able to find it then. The link's not live yet till it drops, but coming up this Thursday will also be on our website, embracinglayers.com, on the season 9 page, as well as her resources on the season 9 resources page. And then that Mayo Clinic article that I shared with you earlier, sharing what narcissistic abuse awareness is, and all of the articles I referred to earlier as I was sharing with you different traits about it. Those are all going to be here on our show notes page. I hope you find this supportive. I hope you find it helpful. I hope that you're able to utilize these resources for yourself if you need them, or share them with your network, with people. You just never know. This narcissistic abuse can be very hidden because narcissists want to put on a very grand, good, sparkling facade on the outside. They want everybody and everything to look prim and proper. They don't want any inkling of anyone having any indication there's anything going on that's improper, inappropriate, not wonderful, that reflects badly on them in any way. And so that, especially during this holiday season, when there's so much of these outward portrayals of wonderfulness and happiness, this can be a really dangerous and scary time for people that are in these relationships. And so I think that's part of the reason December's, I don't know that for sure, don't quote me on that, but I'm guessing December's a month for this because of that very thing. So look for these other little clues, and be, if you know someone who's in one of these relationships, don't push them to talk about it. Don't push them, because the narcissist likes to isolate, likes to make you think that their partner is crazy if they say anything that sounds out of anything that makes the narcissist look bad. So this requires a little introspection. It also requires a way for you to stay present and not too isolated from them, so they feel like the abused person who's getting abused has someone to reach out to if the time comes. And that can be tricky because, again, of all these facades that happen. But I wanted to share these resources with you. I wanted you to have access to them. I think it's so important that we talk about and highlight these. I want to thank the remarkable women who have shared their stories with me and their resources, and the ones that will to come. We've got more of these coming. Some of these women that are on this panel with me this spring, their episodes will be coming in the future on the podcast, but haven't dropped yet. So there's more resources coming with these people. But feel free to message us or DM me if you can't find the resources or you need access to them anyway. If there's any issue you're having accessing any of this, please let us know. Go to embracinglayers.com, fill out our contact form. You can message me here on our YouTube page, whatever it is you need to make sure that you and people you care about have these resources. Hopefully you don't need them, but I find that many times we need resources more so than we realized. And so thank you so much for joining me. Share this, let people know about it. Take good care of yourselves. As I round up today, talking about supporting through Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Month. Again, we don't want you to feel alone. We want you to feel like you have resources. Let us know how we can support you. Take good care of yourselves. We'll be back next week with a Come As You Are panel. This will probably be our final panel of 2025. I don't think on the 22nd or 29th, I'm going to be asking people, or even myself, to come that week with a panel. So join us next week for one final Come As You Are panel before we're back in the new year. But again, let us know if you're having a hard time finding these resources. We want to support and help you. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next week here on the Together We F.E.E.L panel show.